गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजेद्भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अपारकरुणासिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरेन्द्रगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहं। सद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। So we are seeing Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti in Viveka Chudamani. Sadhana Chatushtaya, the 4 prerequisites for doing Vedantic studies. I am repeating this in every class because we need to know all these 4 and we need to follow, or at least try to follow, all these 4. Because even in Mandukya Karika, Mandukya Upanishad could be easily the pinnacle of all the Upanishads. And there is a shloka that says, if you want to know Vedanta, just study Mandukya Upanishad. If you don't understand Mandukya, study 10 Upanishads. If you don't understand even after studying 10 Upanishads, then study all the 100. Says there is a shloka. So Mandukya Upanishad is the pinnacle of Vedanta, and Adi Shankaracharya's guru's guru, Gaudapadacharya. Adi Shankaracharya's guru is Govinda Bhagavat Padacharya, and his guru is Gaudapadacharya. And Gaudapadacharya has written a commentary on Mandukya Upanishad. It is called as Mandukya Karika or Gaudapada Karika. And in that Gaudapada Karika, the Gaudapadacharya says that, he is telling at the end of his Karika, after moksha, after the Swarupam of Brahman, everything is revealed. So there is nothing more to teach. At that time, he says, this Vidya will be beneficial for those people who have sadhana chatushtayam. So even after knowing the Brahma Swarupam, if one has got sadhana chatushtayam, only for those people, the Vidya, the knowledge would be useful. And even after knowing the Swarupam of Brahman, even after knowing the Atma Swarupam, even after knowing the equation Aham Brahmasmi, if a person does not have the sadhana chatushtayam, the knowledge is not going to help him, says Gaudapadacharya at the end of Mandukya Karika. So that much importance we need to give for sadhana chatushtayam. That's why I'm repeating this in every class. So 4 chatushtaya means 4. So 4 sadhanas, 4 prerequisites, Adi Shankara says, they are nitya nitya vastu vivekaha, discrimination between temporary and permanent things. And after knowing that temporary things can only give temporary security, peace and happiness, and if I want permanent security, peace and happiness, then I need to have a permanent source of security, peace and happiness. So I don't want to derive my security, peace and happiness from temporary sources. That is called as Vairagya. Iha mudrartha phalabhoga viragaha. And after understanding that, I need to have 6-fold discipline, starting from the quality Shama, called as Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi. That is what we are seeing now. What are the Samadhi Shatka Sampattihi? They are Shama, which is mental discipline, Dama, which is physical discipline, Uparatihi, which is looking inwards, Titiksha, which is patience or endurance or accepting reality as it is, and Shraddha or Shastra, Guru Vakya, Pramanatvam, and focus, that is Samadhanam. Of these 6 sadhana Shamadhi Shatka, we are seeing Shraddha. What is Shraddha? Normally, Shraddha is translated as faith in the Guru Shastra Upadesham. But here, excuse me, but here, Shraddha is called as Shastra Pramanatva Buddhi, accepting Shastras as a means of knowledge. And when I say Pramanam, we need to be remembering this triangle of Jnanam called as Triputi. What is a triangle of fire? When we say triangle of fire, we say fire is possible only if all the three things are present. In the same way, when I say a triangle of Jnanam, the process of Jnanam, knowledge, teaching takes place only if there are these three things. What are the three things? They are the knower, the pramata, known, the prameyam, and the means of knowledge called as pramanam. The example I gave was the gulab jamun my wife made. If I want to know the color of the gulab jamun, then I am the pramata. The color of the gulab jamun is prameyam. And how do I know the color? Through my nose? No. I know the color through my eyes. So my eyes are the pramanam with which I know the color. And we extended this argument and we came up with 5 corollaries. What are the 5 corollaries? First one is each pramanam has a field of operation. What is meant by field of operation? It means each pramanam, like if I have my eyes, I can only see color. If I have nose, I can only smell things. If I have my ears, they are used for hearing things. So each pramanam has a field of operation, and each pramanam works only over a range in that field. My eyes cannot see all the colors. What is color? Color is nothing but just an electromagnetic spectrum. My eyes cannot see all the wavelength of the electromagnetic spectrum, but it can only see from 400 to 700 nanometer light. So that is called as a field. It is the range in the field of operation. Same way, my ears, it can only hear from this decibel to, there is a range of decibel for which our ears are sensitive. They say like bats, bat on the, bat, they have more sensitive ears apparently. So even in the night, with the ultrasound waves, they can navigate. But we don't have that capacity. Bats have that capacity, but our ears are not tuned to that range of sound. So sound, even though our ears can hear sound, there is a limitation of, what wavelength, what decibel our ears can hear. And the third corollary is what is revealed through one pramanam, it cannot be confirmed by another pramanam. If I say the color of the gulab jamun is golden color, with my eyes, my ears cannot confirm that the color of the gulab jamun is golden in color. So what is revealed through one pramanam, the other pramanam, the other means of knowledge cannot confirm. And the fourth corollary is sthula pramanams can only reveal sthula prameyam. Whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we feel, whatever we smell, whatever we touch with our gross senses, the prameyam, the objects are also gross in nature. We cannot use our physical eyes to see our dream. In our dream, when we are dreaming, our eyes are closed because we sleep with our eyes closed. And when my eyes are closed, with what eyes do I see my dream? If my ears are not working, with what ears I hear sounds in my dream? Shastra says we have 2 bodies. One, the sthula shariram, and another, the sukshma shariram. The Sukshma Shariram will have a set of eyes. We see our dream through that set of eyes. We hear our dreams through that set of ears. So Sthula Pramanam can reveal only Sthula Prameyam, and Sukshma Pramanam can only reveal the Sukshma Prameyam. And finally, and the most important of all is Punyam, Papam, Swargam, Naragam, Moksham. We can never see these five. Nobody has seen Punyam. Nobody has seen Swargam. Nobody has seen Moksham with their physical eyes. So all these five are under the purview of Shastras. Just like how color is under the purview of our eyes, just like noise is under the purview of our ears, in the same way, all the adrishta vastus, such as Punya Papa, Swarga Naraga Moksha, they are under the purview of Shastras. And just like how our ears cannot confirm what our eyes see, and our eyes cannot confirm what our ears hear, all these five things, Punya Papa, Swarga Naraga Moksha, can never be confirmed by either our Sthula Sharira or our Sukshma Sharira. In the other words, Shraddha means having Shastra as our eyes to perceive Punya Papa Swarga Naraka Moksha. Just like how we believe our eyes unconditionally. We have a tendency even not to believe our ears. We rely so much upon our eyes. If somebody says, hey, this happened, we say, okay, I hear that, but I need to see with my own eyes. That's what we normally say, right? And we see that, that much emphasis that we give to our eyes, but Shraddha meaning whatever the things I see, it needs to be confirmed by Shastras. Normally, what do we say? Whatever the Shastras say, it needs to be confirmed by my eyes. We go on seeking scientific proofs for whatever our Shastras say. It has to be the otherwise. Whatever I say, it is in the Shastras, so that is true. Whatever I hear, Shastra says it so that should be true. So it has to be otherwise. We don't have to find proofs for Shastra with scientific equipments, but we need to find proofs for the scientific equipments through our Shastra. So we need to use Shastras as our eyes, ears, nose in order to understand Punya Papa, Swarga Naraga, Moksha. So that is called as Shraddha. And a guru is a guru only when they conform to Shastras. So I said previously, what is Shraddha? Shraddha means faith in Guru, Shastra, Upatesha. And a guru is a guru only when they conform to Shastra. Why do I say that? Even Krishna says that. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Vyavasthitau Nyatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartumiharhasi. Hey Arjuna, know what is to be done and what is not to be done, not through my words, but through Shastras. So we need to have an absolute faith in Shastras. It is called as Shraddha. So now moving on to the next Sampat, which is Samadhanam. So this Samadhanam is not what we have in Tamil. In Tamil, Samadhanam means compromise. But in Sanskritam, the Samadhanam means something else. What does it mean? It means following the Vedantic teaching at all the times. Not only for half an hour per week, but we have to apply whatever we study in the half an hour for 24/7. That quality is called as Samadhanam. That is taking a serious approach to Vedanta not taking Vedanta as a hobby, not taking Vedanta as a time pass, not taking Vedanta with a casual approach, but whatever we study during this half an hour, we have to try to apply. We have to try to meditate on those things for the entire day. That quality is called as samadhanam. So, Shastras have given a lot of importance for Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. You know, Mahaperiyava's Namavali. We have been seeing Mahaperiyava's Namavali for the Sadhana Chatushtayam. So previously we have seen two namas. So this is the third nama. It says Samadhi Shantka Sampat Pradayakaya Namo Namaha. You know, whoever has written the Namavali for Mahaperiyava, they know Mahaperiyava is an Advaita Guru, and what we need to ask to Mahaperiyava, not I want this, I want that. We can ask those things, but in addition to that, please help me to get Viveka. Please help me to get Vairagya. Please help me to get Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. That's what this Nama says. The one who gives Samadhi Shatka Sampatti to his devotees, to him I do my namaskarams. So here ends the topic of Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. Now we have to see the fourth topic in Sadhana Chatushtayam. The three topics we have seen are Viveka, Vairagya, and Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. The fourth topic we need to see is Mumukshutvam, that is desire for moksha. Mumukshutvam is defined as moksha icha. Icha means desire. Moksha icha, icha, desire for moksham is called as moksha icha. And Adi Shankara says you should not have a normal desire, but you need to have a burning desire for moksha. Again, not studying Vedanta as a means for living. You know, even in Adi Shankara's days, there were several gurus. They study Vedanta as a part of their living. You know, just like how the college professors do. I study something and then I, create other masters. But whether have I benefited from this or not, it's a question mark. We should not have that kind of approach, but we really need to have a burning desire to get moksha. That is called as mumukshutvam. And Adi Shankara in two shlokas makes very startling statement. The first shloka he says, even one who has a little mumukshutvam. So I don't need to have a burning desire. Initially, I will have a spark of mumukshutvam. Like we all have. We all are sitting in this Viveka Chudamani class because we all have mumukshutvam. So even, but the degree of mumukshutvam might vary from one person to other person. But we all have mumukshutvam. Adi Shankara says, even if one has a little mumukshutvam, by the grace of Guru and by developing, by having Samadhi Shatka Sampatti, one can easily get moksha. So, in order to get moksha, even if he has a very small desire for moksha, if he has got the required qualities, just by having those qualities and a faith in Guru, the Guru will, he will impart the knowledge of Vedanta and that person will get moksha. That is the first statement Adi Shankara makes. And the second statement is, how much ever other qualities a seeker has, if they don't have mumukshutvam, it won't lead to moksha. I can have sadhana chatushtayam. I can have nitya nitya vastu viveka. I can be master of my body. I can be master of my mind. But if I don't have mumukshutvam, I'm not going to get moksha. So these two statements are very interesting statements and it needs a lot of meditation. So if one has little mumukshutvam, but the person has the grace of Guru and the grace of Shastra. He has faith in Guru, he has faith in Shastra. Even with little mumukshutvam, he can get moksha. And on the other hand, how much ever other qualities a seeker has, if they don't have mumukshutvam, they are not going to have moksha, says Adi Shankaracharya. And again, here there is a namavali for Mahaperiyava that says Kataksha Matra Moksha Icha Janakaya Namo Namaha. Obeisance to him who generates a desire for moksha. What is mumukshutvam? Mumukshutvam is moksha icha. Namaskarams to that Periyava who gives me mumukshutvam merely by his glance. He does not have to say any word, just his kataksha is enough in order to give me mumukshutvam. To him I offer my namaskaras. So we have seen 4 namas for all the 4 sadhana chatushtayam. What are the 4? Nitya Nitya Vastu Nitya Nitya Viveka Pradayakaya Namo Namaha. Iha Mudrartha Vairagya Siddhidaya Namo Namaha. Shamadhi Shatka Sampat Pradayakaya Namo Namaha. Katakshamatra Moksha Icha Janakaya Namo Namaha. So whenever we are doing our next Anusham Puja, we will have these 4 namavalis. We have to remember what is Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka, what is Iha Mudrartha Vairagya, what is Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti, and what is Mumukshutvam. And we have to pray to Mahaperiyava, hey Mahaperiyava, please bless me with all these 4 so that I can get moksha. So here ends the sadhana chatushtayam, the prerequisites for the journey of moksha. You can imagine the prerequisites as a path. We are taking a path and we need to buy tickets. We are going on a road trip, on a bus or on a train, and we need to have ticket. Only if we have ticket, we can board on the train, right? So that ticket is the prerequisites, which is Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. But once we have the ticket, we can we can go to the same destination either by flight or by train or by bus or by car, or even, we can even walk. So what is the accessory with which I take that journey? That accessory is called as bhakti. The shloka is the 31st shloka in Viveka Chudamani. Adi Shankara says, Moksha Karana Samagriyam Bhaktireva Gariyasi Swaswarupanu Bhaktirithyabhidhiyate. Moksha Karana Samagriyam Bhaktihi Ityeva Gariyasi. The most important accessory to get moksha, the most important accessory if you want to go on to the journey of moksha is bhakti, is to have bhakti towards Bhagavan. And what is bhakti? Adi Shankara says, Swaswarupānusandhānam bhaktirithyabhidhiyate. What is bhakti? Here Adi Shankara defines bhakti as Swarupa Anusandhanam, remembering about Atma Swarupam. That is called as bhakti. We might be startling. Normally we say bhakti means doing abhishekam to Bhagavan, doing alankaram to Bhagavan, or doing lot of homas, doing lot of pujas, etc. But Adi Shankara does not mean all those things as bhakti. He says Swarupa Anusandhanam eva bhakti. To remember one's own nature is called as bhakti. How to understand? We have to understand bhakti as a staircase. In a staircase, there are many steps, and the final step in the staircase of bhakti is Swaswarupa Anusandhanam. but can we just directly jump on the final step before going through all the initial steps? We cannot. We have to go through all the initial steps in order to get to the final step. In the same way, if we want to do Swaswarupa Anusandanam, if we want to abide in our own nature, we have to go through all the puja, dhyanam, japam, homam, etc. That is why if we see the actual mantras for all these things in one way or the other, Atma Swarupam will be there. You know, for example, there is this shloka. I have discussed this shloka even in beginning of Viveka Chudamani class. I'm going to tell you again because it's a very important shloka. It says, Deho Devalaya Proktaha Jivo Deva Sanatanaha Tyajet Ajnana Nirmalyam Soham Bhavena Pujayet. My body is a temple. Who is the Bhagavan? My own Atma is the Bhagavan. By removing Ajnana, ignorance, I do puja to my own Atma with I am him bhava. So that is a very important shloka. We mechanically chant before every puja, but this is the real meaning of the puja. If we understand this shloka, that itself is the puja. And we have the shloka in Lalita Sahasranamam. Arunam Karunatarangitakshim Dhritapashangusha Pushpabana Chapam Animadibhiravratam Mayukaihi Aham Yityeva Vibhavaye Bhavani. I'm imagining Lalitambal as Arunam, as a red color, Ambal Karunatarangitakshim with her eyes with veils of Karuna. Dhrita Pashangusha Pushpabana Chapam. She is having Pasha, Angusha, Pushpabana, and Ikshu Chapa. Animadhibi Avritam Mayukaihi. She is surrounded by Animadi Ashtasiddhihi. But who is she? She is not someone else. I worship her as Aham Yityeva Vibhavaye. I worship her as Aham, as my own Atma. You know, this is the shloka we chant daily before chanting Lalita Sahasranama. But again, we chant mechanically. But you know, that is important because only if we come to Vedanta, we can understand the real meaning of these shlokas. So Bhakti is the lower form. In the beginning stages, we and Swami are different, and I'm doing puja to the Swami in order to propitiate him. But the later stages, the advanced stages of bhakti is I find no difference between myself and Bhagavan. In Mahanyasam, the Vakyam comes, Na Rudro Rudramarchayet. You know, in Mahanyasam or in Lagunyasam, what do we do? Prajanane Brahma Tishtatu, Padayor Vishnustishtatu, Hastayor Harastishtatu, Bahor Indrastishtatu. I say, in my Bahu, let there be Indra. In my hands, let there be Hara. In my legs, let there be Vishnu. We invoke each and every deity on our own body. And we also say, Atmani Sthapayet. We do sthapanam of Bhagavan in our own soul. So, worshipping Bhagavan as our own soul is an integral part of every puja that we do, which is nothing but bhakti. So, having sadhana chatushtaya as prerequisites, as a ticket for our journey, having bhakti as an accessory for our journey, let us take the journey of jnanam towards moksham. How do we take the journey of jnanam towards moksham? Adi Shankara is going to tell a story, a conversation between Guru and Sishya in the next classes, how the Sishya approaches Guru and what are all the questions that Sishya asks the Guru and how the Guru is going to reply for all those questions. He is going to elaborate the entire Upanishadic knowledge in the question answer session, in the form of question answer, which we will see in the next class, from the next class. हरिः ओम्। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति।